That's a funny movie called Party Good Action. Where are you from, though? Titanium, bro. Titanium, bro. Hey! That's all I know. I've been, oh, no, that's a big thing last night. Hey,
रेड में कैसे हो ना रेड रेड करता था क्या नल्ला हाय
but I guess you got a motorcycle. I'm like really against it because I think they're just death machines, you know. But yeah, my mom texted me saying he got a motorcycle. I know he's always liked the water one.
I can see it. The boat is not moving. Do you see it?
ના 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 ડક નો જાય કઈ ડક માટે આવું ન કરે
Told the other people to leave. It's actually a little, it's probably got a little bigger than mine in terms of yeah, I have to put out organize Yeah, exactly. You don't want to ruin the day. I'll be stressed out running around being a host.
They're considered white elephants. Boston University colleges, college students used to rent out these mansions as dormitories, apartments, and rooms. It was known as the Big Party Street. When I went to school, if you get to Marlborough Street on Friday or Saturday, guaranteed party. But it's all reversed itself now. The baby boomers, they move back, bought them up, big bucks in them back there. All the neighborhoods of Boston have gone up and down economically, except Beacon Hill. Always stay the same. Here's Commonwealth Avenue off to your right, and to your left, you'll see George Washington over there in the Boston Public Garden. He's still got his Bruins jersey on. This is the Boston Public Garden to your left. It's the oldest botanical garden in the United States, 1837. This is Newbury Street. This was like Marlborough Street at one time, but it never came back to the neighborhood. It came back to the shopping district. So it's everything from Giorgio Armani, Brooks Brothers, Cartier. Definitely the Rodeo Drive of Boston. Off to your right here, the blue awning, that is Shreve Crumpet Low. Shreve Crumpet Low is the oldest jewelry business in the United States, 1796. Run by generations of the same family, the Shreve family. They did the Davis Cup, the Cy Young Award, Beanpot Tourney Award, Winston Churchill shot there. Jack Kennedy got a diamond and citrine ring for Jack there. Oldest jewelry business in the United States. All right, now I'm going to turn left here. As I turn left, look up the street. off to your right here. See all these old Victorian mansions, which are shops and boutiques and restaurants. That's Newbury Street. Now the church that you see up ahead to your right here is the Trinity Church. The Trinity Church was built in 1877. It is on the top 10 most important architectural pieces in the United States. One of the interesting things about this church is its foundation. It's a wood foundation. And many of the older buildings in the Back Bay are built on wood because it's all landfill, not a good surface for a building. So what they are is 50-foot spruce pilings. They pounded them down until they hit the hard ground. They're down below the water table. Wood needs oxygen to rot, and they're still holding up that church. There are 4,502 50-foot spruce pilings holding up this church, and the foundation's just fine. We just spent $50 million to renovate this church. So here's the Trinity Church off to your right. It's built on 4,502 50-foot spruce pilings. The very building up ahead here is the John Hancock Tower. It's the tallest building in New England, and it was designed by I.M. Pei. I.M. Pei is the guy who did the pyramid over in Paris, JFK Library, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And it was built to reflect the architecture of Boston. And when we get on the river, and some of you on the right here will be able to look into the building and see the old John Hancock building reflected in the new John Hancock Tower. And you'll notice the way the building is built on an angle so it wouldn't block the morning light to the Trinity Church. So, tallest building in New England. This is the old John Hancock building to your left here, built in 1947. That's reflected in the new John Hancock building. This is Copley Square up ahead to your right here. Copley Square is named after John Singleton Copley. He was a famous portrait artist back in the old days. He did that famous portrait of Paul Revere they had on the Sam Adams beer label for a while. And to your left is the Copley Plaza Hotel. This is an elegant hotel built in 1912. And Babe Ruth used to keep rooms here. Very, very beautiful hotel. Been here since 1912. Up ahead is the Boston Public Library, up ahead to your right here. The Boston Public Library is the oldest publicly funded lending library in the United States, 1848. It's got great sculpture, great architecture, wonderful exhibits, all kinds of stuff in the Boston Public Library.
Sculpture.
Look to your right, here's the front of the Trinity Church. But this is on the top 10 most important architectural pieces in the United States. And that's the one with the spruce pilings for foundation. The church that you see to your left here is the Old South Church. The Old South Church is the oldest existing congregation in Boston. It dates back to 1669. And it's a congregational church. The Puritans became Congregationalists. And it's made out of something called Roxbury pudding stone, which is the state stone of Massachusetts, and many of the older buildings and municipal buildings and a lot of churches here in Boston are made out of Roxbury pudding stone. Whole wide world only found here in Boston. Half a block to our left is the finish line of the Boston Marathon, which is not the biggest, that's the New York Marathon, but it's the oldest marathon in the United States, and as I said, it shuts this town down, pumps about $130 to $180 million into the economy. Alright, first minister over in this church was a guy named Phillips Brooks. He was 6'4", he weighed 300 pounds, but he wrote Little Town of Bethlehem. Remember that one? Well, the weather's not too bad, is it? I don't know. Supposed to get a sea breeze today, which would mean we get some cool air off the water, but it certainly hasn't kicked in yet. the New England Mutual Life Insurance Company, the oldest mutual life insurance company in the United States. It's the original site of MIT. MIT started here in Boston in 1861. They didn't have classes till 65 because of the Civil War. Later on, they moved to Cambridge. The blue awning that you see to your left here, on the corner over here to your left, can you see the blue awning? That's Shreve Crumpet, it's not Shreve Crumpet, that's Brooks Brothers. It's the oldest continuously operating men's clothier in the United States, 1818. It's that proper Bostonian look, you know, the button-down collar. The Brooks Brothers were over in England. They watched polo players who button down their collar. That's order, that's structure. It's the Puritan way, became the hallmark of their clothing.
साइकिल रेंट पर हाँ हाँ ले जाने पेड कर देगा
Beautiful golden archway. It says I Party. It used to be the Women's Educational and Industrial Union, which started back in 1875 by women, for women. They started the first credit union in the United States for women, women's rights, women's suffrage. They started the first cooking school in the United States for women. First instructor was Fanny Hopper. To your left is the Boston Public Garden. It's the oldest botanical garden in the United States, 1837. And the swan boats are over there to your left. Can you see the swan boats? They've been there since 1877 as well. The same family have been running them all these years, the Pageant family. And it was inspired by an opera called Lohengrin, where a knight was towed across the river by two huge swans. Take a ride in the swan boats. It's a big part of the personality of the city, and it's only a couple of bucks. But 50 years from now, when you see a brochure about Boston, you're going to see the swan boats. All right, now here's the Shawmut Peninsula. Remember, this is what Boston was before it was Boston. So right along the sidewalk in front of us was the banks of the River Charles. The mainland went to your right, the peninsula went to your left, up over Beacon Hill, down at the north end. On the other side of it was Boston Harbor. So they filled in a lot of Boston Harbor first, and then from here all the way to Fenway Park for 40 years. And the landfill came from Needham, Massachusetts, about 15 miles west of Boston. And they built a railroad from Needham to the Back Bay. They have what they call a drumlin, a huge mountain of gravel left over from a receding glacier. It was perfect for landfill, so they built a railroad from Needham to the Back Bay. It's not the only landfill project. If you went into Logan Airport, it's all landfill. So they were not happy about this being built here, even though it was 56 years after they arrived. This was originally a wooden structure, and they built the current structure right around the old one in the 1700s. There's a bell in the belfry of this church that was cast by Paul Revere. And it was the last bell he cast in 1816. 2 years later, I told for him, he was buried out of the King's Chapel. This is the Parker House off to your right. It's the oldest continuously operating hotel in the United States. It's where we get Parker House rolls and Boston cream pie. Ho Chi Minh worked here when he was living in Boston. He was a pastry chef. Malcolm X worked there. They just spent $30 million renovating that absolutely gorgeous Victorian hotel. This is Old City Hall to your left, 1865 to 1969. It's the site of the first public school in the United States. Boston Latin, still here in Boston today. And now we're getting to the part of Boston where the streets don't make any rhyme or reason. Because, like I said, they were just horse trails, cow paths. Streets remain the same, buildings have changed somewhat. Off to your right here is the Irish famine statue. The huge Irish immigration because of the Irish potato famine. The Old South Meeting House off to your right here. The Old South Meeting House is where Ben Franklin attended services, John Hancock attended services there, and they planned the Boston Tea Party there. In England and in France as a diplomat. He apprenticed a block to our left in what is known as the Long Room. He was going to study to be a printer. But he was a very smart guy, right? He invented the lightning rod, the bifocal, the Franklin stove. He came up with the concept of daylight savings time. He was the oldest signer of the Declaration of Independence. But he was overseas for 25 years without his wife. You know, he's a womanizer, he's a partier, he liked to drink and chase girls. So when he in Boston, been read every 4th of July since then from that balcony at 10 o'clock in the morning, and the Boston Massacre occurred in front of that building. And it's a fabulous museum. Has anybody been in there? Tea for the Boston Tea Party, John Hancock's coat is in there. That's the old State House. We saw the new State House on top of Beacon Hill. Off to your right here is Faneuil Hall, named after Peter Faneuil, a wealthy merchant. Charles Bulfinch redesigned it after it burned, but many of the speeches to complain about the Stamp Act, the Townsend Act, the tax on tea, and everything else that came into Boston came from Faneuil Hall. It is still political. John Kerry conceded the presidential election from Faneuil Hall. On the other side of it is North Market, South Market, Quincy Market. The real long warehouses, you might be able to get a glimpse of it here. The real long warehouses, they were built in the 1830s. At the time they were built, they were the largest public works in Boston. Called the Freedom Trail. Pick up a brochure over at the Boston Common. You walk around Boston, you find it in Charlestown. This is the mouth of the River Charles. Up here, right here, going out into Boston Harbor. Built and repaired ships for over 200 years. But they closed it down in 1974, but it is home to the USS Constitution. And the Constitution, let's see if we can get a look at it here. Look back now. There it is. It's much bigger than it looked. So the Constitution was launched in 1797. It was built right here in Boston. Launched in 1797, commissioned in 1798. It fought the Barbary pirates off the coast of Tripoli, fought in the War of 1812. It's been in 33 military engagements. It's never been defeated. It has never had an enemy combatant on its... And the steering wheel still turns the front wheels, but it also turns a rudder. So here's the Charles River Dam up ahead here. This is where we started from. We're going to go through the old lock, which is open all the time now. There's a new lock, a new dam downstream. But there is a traffic light just to the left of the lock and the drawbridge, which means we can transit. We also talked about Channel 13. coming out. If we got any kids who want to drive the duck, just let me know. You can come on up here and do it. This is Massachusetts General Hospital to your left, Massachusetts Eye Infirmary. Want to drive the duck? All right. Where are you from? North Attleboro. All right. Is that what you said, North Attleboro? Massachusetts General Hospital, Massachusetts Eye Infirmary. How you doing? All right? Good? How old are you? 6. So you going to the first grade or second? First grade. All right, look up ahead here. This is the Longfellow Bridge. It's named after Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Its nickname is the Salt and Pepper Bridge because the towers on it look like salt and pepper shakers. And it was built in 1906 and replaced a wooden bridge called the West Boston Bridge, which dated back to the 1700s. Well, he's going to drive first, okay? I know you want to drive. How old are you? 5 years old? So how's your summer going? Good? Yeah, you having a good time? Have you been swimming? Where do you go swimming? Where do you go swimming? Where do we go, in a pool? Yeah. It's not too hard for you to get down to the Cape from Attleboro, though, is it? Is it really? Oh, you go to do you go to Narragansett Bay? Yeah, that's nice, huh? Let's give him a big hand here. He did an excellent job from North Attleboro, Massachusetts, 6 years old. And now I think his brother wants to drive, right? Before he busts. Can you wait till he gets out? All right. Do they get along? Do they get along? Well, take a picture. Look back here. Kids who want to drive? Any other kids? You want to drive? No? I don't think so. No. Alright, I'm going to take it for a little bit because of the sailboats. Alright, give him a big hand. He did an excellent job. Very good. Thank you very much. See number 55 over there at 9 o'clock? There's the hatch word. I'll show it to you again. To your right, you'll see a golf ball on top of a building. It's a Doppler radar facility. It's on top of one of the buildings of MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Harvard University is a little bit up the river. at the Citgo sign up ahead there to your right, to the left of the Citgo sign. Can you see the old Back Bay skyline right along top of the tree line? There was an ordinance that no building could be built higher than that, for aesthetic reasons and also because it's landfill. They weren't too sure about how high a building they could have. Gondola off to our right here. And just beyond the gondola, coming into view here. Alright, now just to your right here, you'll see the Hatch Royal Show where they play the Boston Pops 4th of July concert, which started in 1929 with Arthur Fiedler. He did 50 concerts. All these sailboats are part of community boating. Community boating is the oldest.
દેખાય જ જો કેટલું દૂર છે તો એ દેખાય.
સેટિંગ
તો ઘણું ઉપર છે.
તું તો પહેલા બેઠી હતી ને પ્લેનમાં પહેલી વાર અહીં આવી ગયા. એકદમ સરસ એકદમ સરસ ઘણી વોકિંગ કરી હે મજા આવતી.
ભાઈ
બાય 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 સરસ હાઈ ક્લાસ આવી ગયા.
તમે ઉપર જાઓ અંકલ જાઓ કાઢી દો.